October 16th is a big day. Not only is it mine and Mark's 10-year wedding anniversary, but it's also the day that Etsy's changing their seller policies. And they haven't been quite clear on what exactly is changing, nor do they have a list of all of the changes in one nice, neat place. What's up, Alphas? On September 15th of 2020, Etsy announced that they're going to be making some changes to their seller policy, which will go into effect on October 16th of 2020. However, they were not very clear about what these changes would be, aside from the fact that they would no longer be accepting any payments, including checks, money orders, yada yada, which is not something that many sellers did anyway. However, when you go to the page that is supposed to tell you about the changes, the only change that they outline is the one to their payment policies. There are a lot of other changes that they are going to be making on October 16th, but they have not outlined those changes separately from their big policies page, which means that you have to scan through their existing policies and hopefully notice new things popping up, because nothing new is indicated with any type of star or highlighted section. We just have to kind of sort through it and try to find them on our own. Now, I sat down with these policies for quite a while, and I was really struggling to find out what exactly was different and what was changing, because it's really hard to pick through it all and try to figure out what out of these policies have actually changed. So the first one I want to go over, and probably the most controversial of the changes that Etsy is kind of subtly suggesting, but we don't have a definite answer from, they have added a new policy called interference. And it says, interference occurs when a member intentionally interferes with another member's shop in order to drive away their business. Interference is strictly prohibited on Etsy. Examples of interference include creating or using an independent buyer account to maliciously upvote another shop's negative reviews in order to position those reviews more prominently. Now, this is something that we see on Amazon, where users are able to upvote or kind of like reviews and say whether or not those reviews were helpful or not. So now that Etsy has subtly mentioned that it is considered malicious behavior for another member to go and upvote a competitor's negative reviews, that tells us that we can expect a similar upvote system to be released onto our own Etsy reviews, probably in the near future, possibly even before the holiday season. Now, though this probably has you a little bit nervous, I'm not overly concerned. I don't feel like this is going to be much different, and I don't really see a lot of people just maliciously going in to try to upvote negative reviews, but it could happen. Obviously, there are crappy people out there, so it's just something that I would be aware of for the future, that this is something that Etsy is probably going to be adding in the next few months. So we should plan accordingly and expect to see this new section. I highly recommend trying to really give the very best customer service that you possibly can through 2020 as this new change is introduced. In fact, down below, I've got my free SSAR swipe file series, which is my proven customer service strategy that I've been using over the last 8 years in my own Etsy shop, and that my handmade alphas have been using for the last 4 years in their Etsy shops. These are basically copy and paste messages that you send to your customers throughout the process of their transaction. And this is going to keep them informed. It's going to tell them all of the relevant information that they need to know. And it's going to open positive doors of communication. That way, if something goes wrong with their order, they are more likely to reach out to you personally rather than leaving a negative review in your shop. All of my alphas say that these swipe files have completely changed the way that they do business, and they are 100% catered to Etsy's policies, so you can ensure that you're not breaking any Etsy rules. The link to that is down below. Make sure that you read through the page. That way you get all of the facts before you sign up for those freebies. Everything that you need to know is right on the sign up page. So that's what I recommend to get you guys ready. But like I said, just be aware that this upvote system is probably something that we're going to be seeing very, very soon. To revisit the other policy change that we heard about, Etsy will be removing the ability to use other and payments by mail as of October 16th. So anybody who pays by check, money by mail, money order, yada yada, that will be eliminated on October 16th. I personally don't know any Etsy sellers who take checks by mail, and I've never found that to be a very safe method of doing transactions on Etsy. So this isn't one that affects me. Hopefully it doesn't affect you, but if it does, let me know down in the comments below, because I'm really curious if anybody actually accepts payments by mail or through money order. Another big policy change that will be taking effect on October 20th. Etsy is going to be removing baby teething toys that have small parts. I believe that they said baby toys and teething items with small parts are no longer allowed to be sold here. This is a great change in my opinion. It's unfortunate for anybody who is selling teething items. However, I feel like this is really something that is a given when we're dealing with children. There are already tons of laws and regulations that children's toys need to be mindful of when selling on Etsy. So these aren't things that I'm personally familiar with because I sell jewelry for adults. However, it is good to know if you sell children's toys or if you are planning to sell children's toys. This is one of those policies that you might want to look up into, and make sure that you're also following all of the guidelines that you need to follow in order to sell toys or anything for children on Etsy, even including child size masks, because you also have to follow these regulations as well. The last thing that we want are any babies getting hurt or, God forbid, getting strangled by our products. And Etsy doesn't want that either. I don't think anybody here really protests Etsy's new rule of not allowing people with loose parts and teething items to sell on Etsy. All right, now here's probably the most controversial policy change that we've probably heard already. I'm going to go ahead and read this one word for word. It states, your seller account and Etsy terms. In order to keep Etsy safe and improve our services, we may take actions that limit the visibility of your shop, listings, or ads, or that impact your payment account. In the event that a shop sees an unusual spike in orders, particularly in a high demand category, a shop may see an increase or decrease in its search ranking. Often, if a shop sees an increase in fulfilled orders and good reviews, this may result in higher visibility and search rank. However, sometimes a rapid increase in orders can reduce visibility. Now, I know how scary this sounds. We experienced this a few months ago in the spring when Etsy was reducing the visibility of mask sellers. And the reason that they did this for masks was that we had all of these brand new sellers joining Etsy for the very first time who were hand making every mask one by one, and they would set their quantities to 900 masks and assume that they could keep up with orders, and then they would wake up in the morning after sleeping for the night to 200 orders in their Etsy shop that they couldn't fulfill because they weren't aware that Etsy has the potential to blow up the way that it often does when there is an in-demand product. So that's where this originally came from. However, it is a bit concerning that Etsy is going to be reducing the visibility to shops that are doing well and following all of the guidelines that they should be following. I can understand them doing it when a shop isn't fulfilling their orders in time, or maybe they're going weeks on end without actually shipping their orders by their order deadlines. But shops that are able to keep up with that high demand, it seems a little weird. I've actually sat and thought a lot about it, and my big explanation for this is that Etsy wants to try to make the platform an even playing field. So when we see these sellers, for example, Planner Kate, who is the #1 Etsy seller in the world. She does planner stickers and planner accessories, but she's completely saturated the planner sticker market. So when you search for planner stickers, odds are you're going to find Planner Kate because she has so many sales and so much sales ranking She's just the given choice that you're going to find in search. So Etsy's trying to level the playing field a little bit and give sellers who might not have any opportunity to be found in search because they're new, they're trying to give them an opportunity to rise up a little bit in the ranks. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that sellers who have a lot of sales are going to suffer tremendously if you guys are doing what I have recommended from day one on my channel and make sure that you build a secondary funnel, not just SEO. SEO is fantastic. I love SEO. I am all about driving traffic to your Etsy shop through SEO. But the most successful Etsy shops that you see on Etsy also have a solid marketing strategy alongside their Etsy shop. Whether that be Pinterest, whether that be Instagram, whether that be Facebook. I personally have a booming Facebook group that I use for my Etsy shop and where I post my products. And I have an email list, which was the number one way that I make sales to my Etsy shop. I send one email when I need to make a sale, and bam, I make 10 to 20 sales right after I send that email. So these are all great strategies that you can use to drive a bit of your own traffic if you notice that reduced visibility in search. Overall, I'm a little bit nervous about this one because I don't know how it's going to impact some of those bigger sellers. However, for the little guys, this should be something that you're really excited about because this means that they're going to be taking some of these big dog sellers out of the top slots and putting you in. Now, that doesn't mean that these positions will be permanent. I'm positive that they're going to do a lot of switching from top sellers to some of our newbie sellers and switch them in and out, but we'll just have to see how it goes. So if you're a new seller, be sure to rejoice because this is a big moment for you. Make sure that you're doing your SEO research, getting your shop in ship shape, and making sure that it is ready to display to the public. And if you are an older seller and you have a lot of customers already, I would highly recommend starting that email list, starting that social media following, and capturing some of these customers so that you can market to them again and again after or if you lose any visibility in search. So we'll have to see how this one goes. There's also another part to their policies updates that I would also like to point out, and this is linked to their search and advertisement ranking disclosure page. They added a part that says frequency capping to limit the number of times the same listing or shop appears at the top of results for a specific user or keyword. So capping the number of times that someone could be seen on the top of a search page is what I would assume that this means. If you are searching for a mug for grandma and you search mug for grandma on Etsy, it's not going to be the exact same seller's listings saturating the front page. What we're probably going to see is a lot more variety on those crucial front pages, which is going to give more opportunities to sellers who want to make it to the front page of search results. And this might also lead these front pages to change more frequently with different listings when paired with our last policy updates, which, stated that sellers who make a lot of sales might see their visibility dropped for a small period of time. So what I'm seeing here is I believe that Etsy is going to be interchanging and changing those front pages frequently. That way it's not just a set in stone place where sellers can make themselves comfortable. We're going to be making these front pages more competitive. That way all sellers have a little bit of an opportunity to get on that very highly sought after first search page. So we just have to see how this plays out. I'm not entirely sure what all of these policy changes mean. We're just kind of going off of some of the clues that Etsy has given us. So a lot of this is speculation, but this is just my opinion based on the things that I'm seeing here. If you guys have your own opinions, be sure to post those down below. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think of some of these changes as well. If you're excited that there might be new opportunities on these crucial first pages of search, or if you're one of those top sellers and you're really, really mad that you might lose some of those positions for a short period of time. Either way, guys, these are the policy changes that you can expect to see in October. We're expecting them to roll out October 16th. However, the one for baby teething toys will be rolling out a little bit later, October 20th. So if you create any teething products, I would make sure that you're making the necessary changes to your shop before the October 20th date rolls around. I'm really curious to know what you guys think of all of these policy changes. I'm really just kind of going to stand back and see how this all plays out, because honestly, Etsy makes changes all the time. We usually see a crazy reaction from the seller community, and then those changes either get pulled back or they end up not being as bad as we originally thought that they would. So all we can do right now is sit and wait and see what happens, and I will try to keep you guys updated every step of the way through all of these policy changes, and I'm going to be here to help you get your shops ready and prepped for the busy holiday season. So if you made it till the end, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're new here, because I'm going to be rolling out tons of Etsy holiday videos. And if you're confused about Black Friday on Etsy, make sure that you download my Black Friday Survival Guide PDF down below. This PDF is a free checklist, and it is the exact same checklist that I personally use every single year in my own Etsy shop to prep my product for Black Friday. This checklist can be printed out. You can go over it. It starts a few days before Black Friday. That way you can market and hype up your big sale. And it includes my double dip strategy video, which is going to teach you how I run a double dip sale for Black Friday that usually brings in around $6,000 or more within a 24-hour window. So the link to that is down below. It's totally free. Plus, you can also grab those SSAR swipe files that I mentioned earlier in the video. To conclude, guys, I know that Etsy policy changes are always a bit scary, especially when Etsy is very vague. So I hope that this helps to kind of clarify things and hopefully ease your mind, or maybe lead you to ask even more questions. Either way, I'm really curious to know what you guys think. So be sure to comment down below, and I will be awaiting some of your responses. Until next time, guys, bye-bye!